Good evening, and welcome to Barb Barkley's Wine with Me, and why not? I'm so delighted that you're here with me tonight, and I wanted to get to something that I've been meaning to get to all summer long. It's flying by, but it's rosé wine. Rosé wine is crisp and fun and versatile. Rosé can be had in the afternoon, in the evening, in the backyard, at a picnic, on the beach, but it's also elegant enough for a lovely dinner for two. Don't let these rosés pass you by, and don't let the summer pass you by without trying them. And remember, these are not the rosés of old, which were actually called white zin or white Zinfandel. Those were sweet, more like a wine cooler type of beverage. And luckily for us, the rosés that you see on the shelves today are mostly not sweet, even though they might have words on the flavor notes that say strawberry or blueberry or rhubarb or honeydew melon. You may see those as descriptions of what the flavors that come through of the wine are, but don't mistake those descriptions for a sweet wine. These are not sweet wines, they are dry. So let's meet some of the wines that we're going to try this evening. And how appropriate that we're here in the German room and our first wine is going to actually be a rosé from Germany. It's called Emma Reichhardt, and it is a Pinot Noir from 2018. I can't wait to try that one. The next wine is from France. It's from the Provence region of France, where many of the Pinot Noirs are actually from. And it is called Leroux. It is also 2018. The third wine is from California. I couldn't very well do a wine tasting without throwing a California wine in there. And it is called La Massy, and it is a rosé wine from the Monterey region. And our last wine that we'll be trying is also from the Provence region of France, and it is called Exquisite. It's a fabulous name. We don't know if it's exquisite, but we'll be the judge after we do some trying of this wine. As always, my friends, don't forget to write down what you try and note down some flavors and some other notes about what you like. What I always do is I use my trusty wine journal, and I write in here when I tasted it, how much it cost, the region, the vintage, and what I had it with as far as food goes, if I paired it with something. And I also like to write down my impressions. There's a note in there to write about the color, and it's just a really nice one-page record of the wine that you tried, and it's a good idea to write it down so that when you're shopping again, you have a little place to check and reference to make sure it was one that you really liked and wanted to buy again. So, wine journal, don't forget, write it down. You want to write it down, especially the older you get or the more wine you drink. Write it down. So, the first thing we're going to do is pour, look at the color, then we'll check the aroma, and we'll finally taste it. So let's get started. Okay, so the first one I'm going to pour is the Emma Reichhardt. Pour it for you. Oh, darn it. Why do I always pour so much? I keep forgetting I'm just tasting it. Okay, so we've got that real rosé color. It's pink, it's a beautiful pink hue, and I think it's the perfect rosé color. That's the Germany one. The next one I'm pouring is the Leroux from Provence of France. This one is much more pale. It's a straw pink color. You definitely see some, almost like a Chardonnay in there, with just a touch, almost like just a kiss of pink. It's lovely. That's the Leroux. Now I'll pour the La Masse from California, Monterey. And again, you can look closely at it. This is much more pink. This reminds me of strawberries, very red, very berry looking. Lots of pink in there. It's a lovely color. And last, and certainly not least, I will pour the Exquisite from the Côte de Provence in France. Okay. And again, we've got another very pale. Now this one to me is even more pale. I'm looking at it and I'm seeing nearly no pink. Maybe you're seeing a little bit more pink than I am. Yeah, and actually let's put these next to each other, the two French ones. This one to me looks a tiny bit more pink, but maybe it's not coming through on the camera. But yes, they're definitely, both of them, this Provence style shows a much paler pink. Something of interest that I have to just refer to my note is the wines from the Provence region of France are a blend of 4 different grapes. They are a blend of Grenache, Cinsault, Syrah, and Mourvedre. Up next, the part we've all been waiting for. We'll give them a good sniff, and then we will try the wines and see how we like them. Be right back. And we're back and ready to taste some wine. I don't know about you, but I was a little leery to try some rosés. My go-to is Chardonnay. I like it. I like the oakiness. I like that wine. And I've done a wine tasting on Chardonnays. And I'll probably do another because it is one of my favorites. And there's so many different styles now of Chardonnays. But the rosés, to me, I was always wondering, they're either going to be sweet or too acidic or not flavorful enough. But the more reading I did, the more anxious I am right now to try these wines. So let's get started. And now it's time for the moment we've all been waiting for, especially me, to taste these wines. We'll give them a good sniff. We'll talk about the aromas, and then we'll give them a taste. The first one I'm going to try is the Emma Reichart Rosé. This is a vintage of 2018, and it goes for only $7 a bottle. So it's a great value if you like the wine to have just on a weekday on a backyard picnic. You don't have to wait for a fancy evening. So I'm going to give it a whirl. I have my pen and I'm ready to make some notes. I'm going to give it a little sniff. Okay, the first thing that's coming through is a citrusy fruitiness. And there's some grass in there. I'm just getting a little bit of herbaceousness. Okay, and now I'll give it a taste. Juicy. I'm really getting some juiciness in there. I'm also getting some fruit, high acidic, high citrus. That's what's lingering on my tongue right now. Very nice. I'll just make some notes because remember, write it down. Always cleanse your palate. Water crackers for me work the best. I'm just going to break off a tiny piece. The important thing is you don't want to mix up the flavors of the wines. So cleansing your palate with just a little cracker really helps when you transition from tasting the next wine. Okay, so let's now try the Côte de Provence. It is the Leroux. And again, this wine is a 2018 vintage. And it retails for between $8 and $9 a bottle. Okay. Give it a little sniff. Oh, I smell melon and berries, strawberries, Very, very subtle berries. And now for tasting. Oh, I like this one. This is quite nice. The French style is something that I really like. Very nice. So what I'm tasting, again, I'm getting that citrus. I'm also tasting that berry, that fruit, a tiny bit of melon. I had more melon in the nose than actually in the taste. But yeah, really nice drinkable wine. Oh, definitely recommend this one. Very nice. Before moving on to the third wine, the La Masse California Rosé from Monterey, California. And this one retails for about $9. I'm pretty sure I got this one at Aldi's. Okay, so let's give it a little swirl. The aroma. Wow, lots of strawberries. And a little bit of earth. Wet stone. Fruit. More fruit. And a taste now. Oh, that's a lovely one. Strawberries. Definitely juicy, watermelon-y. Yeah, that's a nice one. This one I could see drinking all by itself. You don't even need to have food with it because it's got so much going on in there. Lots of good flavor. Really nice. And for $9 a bottle, not a bad backyard wine. Nice. All right, so let me write down my impression. Now, when I say juicy and fruity, I don't mean that the wine is sweet. I mean the wine, all these wines are dry, but it's just the flavors that come through. Berries, rhubarb, watermelon, honeydew melon, citrus, a little bit of herbaceousness, a little grassiness, a little bit of earth. Those flavors come through in the complexity of the wine, but they're not tasting sweet by any means. Not sweet. Definitely dry. And now the last wine. This one is the one that's called Exquisite. It's from the Provence region of France, and I hope it lives up to its name because that is quite something to call yourself exquisite. Okay, so let's try the nose and then we'll make some notes. Very, very subtle strawberry and earth and citrus. Okay, and now we'll give it a taste. Wow. This one, very similar to this one in style and in flavor, and equally lovely. Well, I just couldn't decide if I liked any of them best. But you know what? Again, as I always say, write it down and go with what you like. Wine is all about you enjoying what you like. I hope you've enjoyed trying some rosés with me this evening. Remember, it's summer for only a short time, and a rosé is the perfect wine for your summer backyard, picnic, beach, party, gathering, or in these COVID times, very small gatherings, maybe just with one or two friends. But whatever you do, don't let the summer pass you by without trying a few of these wonderful rosés. I hope that you've enjoyed this time with me. I thank you for watching, and cheers. Great skins in for a determined Okay, so... Okay. And there you have it. What I also like to do, as I introduce each wine, is tell you the retail price of the wines. Crap! Tonight is also from... Oh! Whoop.